The Philippines has been an independent state for a long period of time now, with our sovereignty transitioning from Spaniards who occupied us with more than 300 years and to the Americans who has an ulterior motive, costing us our independence. That will be the case until July 4, 1946, when the historic agreement, the Treaty of General Relations and Protocol, was signed, which marked the end of the American colonial rule in the Philippines and the recognition of the Philippine independence by the United States. Ever since then, the Philippines is a unitary, presidential constitutional republic. In this series, we will discuss the politics we have in the Philippines, its form of government, unitary, and federalism. Federalism in the Philippines refers to political movements in the Philippines that are variants of federalism. The concept of federal government for the Philippines was first suggested by Dr. Jose Rizal.
He outlined his vision of a federalist governance on his essay meaning The Philippines a Century Hence that was published by the Barcelona-based propaganda paper La Solidaridad in 1889. One of the first proponents of federalism in the Philippines in the 21st century is Professor Jose Abueva from the University of the Philippines. He argued that a federal form of government is necessary to more efficiently cater to the needs of the country, despite its diversity. The primary goals of a constitutional amendment is to increase decentralization, greater local power, and access to resources, most especially among regions outside Metro Manila, which has long been dubbed as rather imperial.
But what exactly is federalism? For that, we have asked an expert so that we can understand it in a deeper level. What is federalism? And how does it differ from our current unitary system?
In federal state, the central government and the subnational units such as state and provinces share powers according to a written constitution. The subnational units share or have rights to exist and to exercise their constitutional powers, which cannot be abolished or altered by the central government without their consent. Meanwhile, in unitary state, which is the one we currently have, the central government has the supreme authority and can create and abolish subnational units such as regions and municipalities. The subnational units have the powers that the central government delegates to them, and these powers can be changed and revoked at any time. Basically, the federalism is a system of government in which the power is divided between the central authority and various constituents.
Federalism was one of the main campaign promises of Rodrigo Duterte when he ran for president of the Philippines in 2016. His administration pursued a proposal which would shift the Philippines from being under a unitary form of government to a federal one.
Duterte issued Executive Order No. 10, which created the 25-member Consultative Committee, or CONCOM, on December 7, 2016 for the review of 1987 Constitution. On July 9, the Consultative Committee for the drafting of a Constitution for a Federal System of Government, headed by former Chief Justice Renato Puno, submitted their draft to President Duterte at the Malacanang Palace.
As you know, the campaign for adopting a federal form of government in the Philippines by former President Duterte has failed. What do you think is the reason behind that?
One reason is the lack of public support and awareness. Many Filipinos are unfamiliar with the concept of federalism and its implication for their lives. Some fear that it would lead to more corruption, inequality, and stability. Others worry it would weaken our national unity and identity and create more opportunities for secessionist movements. The complexity and the difficulty of implementing federalism is also one of the reasons. Federalism would require a major overhaul of the existing political, legal, and administrative structure and processes in the country. It would entail drafting a new constitution, creating new regional governments, defining their powers and responsibilities, allocating resources and revenues, resolving disputes and conflicts, and ensuring coordination and cooperation among different levels of government. This task would take a lot of time, effort, and resources, and may face many obstacles and challenges along the way.
Among the features of the proposed federal constitutions are its emphasis on the autonomy of local government units, as well as the recognition of importance of information and communication technology in nation building. It also provides social and economic rights, which entitle every citizen to food, healthcare, decent housing, and livelihood. Immediate relief from violations of the right to a clean environment is also provided. Under the federal system, the national federal government will still exercise national security, foreign affairs, international trade, customs and tariffs, immigration, economic, and monetary powers. The federated regions, on the other hand, will have exclusive power on the creation of sources of revenue, financial administration and management, tourism, land use, public utilities, culture and language development, as well as sports development, parks and recreation, and the issuance of business permits and licenses.
These are the proponents of federalism that was proposed in our country. Now, let's take a look at the benefits and challenges that we might face if we opt for federalism. For this, we've asked students on what they think of it.
I think some possible advantages of federalism is it can promote democracy and participation by bringing government closer to the people and allowing for more representation of diverse group and interest.
Federalism allows for diversity and experimentation. Different units can adopt different policies and practices that suit their local needs and preferences without imposing them on others. This can foster innovation and creativity as well as respect for cultural and political differences.
Federalism can enhance stability and unity by accommodating regional differences and preventing sectionist movements while maintaining a common national identity and interest. It also enhances efficiencies and responsiveness. Decisions can be made closer to the people who are affected by them, and resources can be allocated more rationally and effectively. Also, the central authority can focus on issues that require national or international coordination, while the units can deal with local and regional matters.
I think some possible disadvantages of federalism is it can create complexity and confusion by creating multiple layers of government and overlapping jurisdiction, which can lead to duplication, inefficiency, and inconsistency and conflict. It can also increase inequality and injustice by allowing different units to have different standards and policies on social and economic issues, which can create disparities and discrimination among regions and groups.
Federalism can increase complexity and confusion. There may be overlapping or contradictory laws and policies among different levels of government, which can create uncertainty and inconsistency for citizens and businesses. There may also be duplication or inefficiency in the provision of public goods and services, which can waste resources and reduce quality.
I think federalism can weaken national cohesion and solidarity by encouraging parochialism and separatism and undermining the sense of common purpose and identity among citizens. Also, it can foster inequality and injustice. Some units may have more power or resources than others, which can create imbalances and disparities among them. Some units may also discriminate or oppress certain groups or individuals within their jurisdiction, which can violate their human rights and undermine social cohesion.
The proponents of federalism argue that it would bring more autonomy, development, and representations into the different regions of country. However, federalism also faces many challenges and criticisms in the Philippines.
Opting for a new government structure does not essentially mean that the other one is bad. Federal or unitary state, whatever form of government it may be, both of these systems aims for country growth and development. but awareness on these topics will give us knowledge on what we need to do as citizens. And it will also give us the direction we need to make changes to improve so that we can build a better state.
That is all for federalism. See you next time.